Welcome to the Experience of the Soul podcast with Cynthia Alice Anderson, a weekly show helping you grow, prosper, and evolve. Today, episode 344, Gather Your People. And now, Experience of the Soul.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Experience of the Soul podcast. So nice to have you along the journey with us, and so glad to be in my studio today with my very efficient producer.
Well, thank you very much for that. I'm happy to be here. Welcome, everybody, to Experience of the Soul podcast. I'm Shawn Kilgore, your producer, and thrilled as always to be a part of this podcast. Today is episode 344 of Experience of the Soul. The episode is titled Gather Your People. So I'm here. So consider me gathered.
I say people. Boom, 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 boom. What?
Yeah.
What you gonna do? Yeah. Cool in the gang, baby. Cool in the gang.
Oh, man, those were the days.
Yeah.
Actually,
I still love that song.
Oh, I do too. I mean, I listened to a lot of stuff from back then. I mean, that's, so as always, we want to do some special shout outs. And today our location shout out goes to Suffolk, Virginia. So thank you, friends in that area of Virginia. We sure do appreciate you joining us and listening to us. We had actually quite a good number of downloads.
I know. And I was just wondering if it was my niece. Hey, niece,
Nice.
Yeah. She works for the government. A lot of government people live there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's because that's right out. Is that close to?
We can't say what agency it is.
Oh, it's one of those. We'll just say, people.
Well, It's true. It's true. It's true. Today is a great day, though, friends. Glad to have you along the ride, the journey with us. Feels like a ride Shawn and I are on today. And I wanted to do a shout out to Lisa Lacey. Lisa's so happy we're still connected on social media. And for some reason, emblazoned in my mind is you with a fishing pole in your hand. Lisa's a big fisherwoman, and she thinks any good day is when you're out fishing. And I agree. So very cool, Lisa. Thanks for joining us, and really nice to have you along the journey with us as always. And friends, we love it. We love knowing, hearing from you. We love knowing that our show is, touching your life and that you're relating with us on social media. You all know I have a love-hate relationship with social media.
I think most of us do. I mean,
I'd love to hear from you, but go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's great for so many things and great for connections with old friends and, like my high school, the year that I graduated, we have our own Facebook group just for that year,
You
so
do?
It's like our class of 1994. We have our own Facebook group. So
Mine was not that functional. We just survived the trauma of it. So that was
of it all.
Yeah.
But it's great for those things. But I mean, it's just a source. What's interesting? We went out to dinner last night and we were talking to the waitress about how things are nowadays. And she was saying that she thinks it's COVID that started to get us so angry because we were mad at each other if you weren't wearing a mask or if you were wearing a mask, and we were judging each other. And then it just seemed like the division and everything that
it continued.
It just continued to grow from there.
It did.
And, and social media feeds into that.
Yeah, I mean, it does. It's like you say, the good thing is when you have a positive thing that you put out there and people like it, it's going to send them more positive things. But sometimes I'm just researching something and I'll use social media as a thing. And then I'll get all these things. I'm like, I got to shut this down. Block. It's crazy how much you have to do that. But, it is, one of the ways we relate. And again, for this show, it's really helped us get worldwide. And we really, really appreciate that. I do want to.
Sorry, go ahead. No. I was just going to say, I think it's important, like how we mentioned last week too, when you see positive things like the material, the content that we're putting out, sharing those things is just, it's more than just clicking a button, right? You're putting that positivity, that energy,
Yes, that energy.
the consciousness of the work that went into creating that content
Yes.
out into your social media group. And it's just that is what we need more of, right? I mean, it's like it sounds cliche, but it's like what the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing we need more of.
Oh,
It was true
absolutely
back
true.
then, and it's even more true now. And that's how those things can happen in today's day and age, is making sure that when you post on social media, you're not complaining about someone, you're not putting negative things out there, you're focusing on trying to lift people up,
Yeah.
rather than tear people down, which is what we're seeing just too much of
Too much of.
nowadays.
And friends, bottom line, when you start saying negative things on social media, you're really showing everybody
Yourself, you're showing them yourself.
you're
Yeah, I
showing
mean,
them
like,
yourself, and you're embarrassing yourself, quite honestly. You don't realize you're disrespecting yourself for all the world to see. And as social media, where anybody can read it, is not an appropriate place to air your dirty laundry. It's not an appropriate place to make jabs at people. Some people do it and they won't name the person, but they'll say, be grown, have a real conversation with somebody, try to work it out. If you can't, do your therapeutic work, handle it, do your
yeah,
spiritual work, handle it. But going out online, and I'll tell you that karmic payback, friends,
it's coming back around. It's
it
coming
always
back around.
comes back around. It always does. It
Yeah.
always does. It'll come in bad moods. It'll come in friends talking about you behind your back and everything else. So I just really want to encourage you to not, like Shawn said, but put love and good energy out. It's so easy to like and support something. If you don't like it, keep scrolling. Just keep scrolling.
Yeah.
It doesn't help. And really today's message is kind of about gathering your people together. I think that's our title today, isn't it, Shawn?
It is gather your people, gather your people. And your people are your friends, your family of choice, your family of origin, but also your whoever supports you in your journey. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Oh yeah, we did our shout out. Sorry. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. Sorry, we get into conversations and I feel like I forget we're recording. I think we're just like hanging out, talking on Zoom.
Ever since the Christmas party, we're at a new level, Shawn.
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah. Ever since we played cornhole.
You and I were the best there, if you don't mind me saying.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, can we share the story about my little cousin? When my aunt was like, "You didn't let the minister win?" Or he goes, "That's a minister? She's a minister?"
That was hilarious. Like I should have been wearing a black, shirt and collar, white collar or something.
Yeah. That was really funny. That really
made
cute.
my day.
Oh my gosh, I love. Yeah, that's going to be a good story from now on. I love it. So, friends, welcome officially to episode 344 of the Experience of the Soul podcast. This is Gather Your People.
Yes, friends. For me, this topic, gather your people. It's really empowering, and I hope all of the shows come across as empowering. I have a lot of joy today. I've had such a wonderful day, and part of gathering my people has been knowing what I need, when I need it, and then gathering those right people. And what I mean by that is, I'll give you an example, even though I'm not really in the topic yet exactly. But this morning I got up, and I always get up before my son, and I made us a beautiful breakfast of eggs and rice and bacon. And then I got ready and went to my jujitsu lesson with a new professor I'm working with, and I learned so much. And he reminds me of so many truths, personal and spiritual, including you don't have to apologize. You're learning. Anyway, so many things. From there, I went to acupuncture. I came home. I had a beautiful lunch, and now I'm recording. And my people were all the way through that. My son, my professor I was working with, even the gym I go to, and my acupuncturist, who is so intuitive, who's also a medical doctor. These are my people, and they're my people because they support me. They're my people because they remind me of the truth. They're my people because they will also tell me the truth if I need positive or what I think of as constructive, not negative, constructive feedback. If you're receiving something in a real negative way, it's more often complaining than constructive feedback. But who are your people? Well, Shawn said it could be any number of people. It could be friends, it could be family, it could be chosen coaches or therapeutic people that support you. But it is important to have a very small group of people that you know are your people, because we need people who will tell us the truth. We need people who will be honest. We need people who will be constructive with love and honesty. We also need people who on a bad day will lift us up and not be in a huge place of judgment of us and our process, but just see it for what it is, as my professor so beautifully did today, under his guidance. When I kept making a mistake, I said, "I'm so sorry, I'm not getting this." He goes, "Why apologize? You're learning. You're supposed to mess up at first." He was like, basically, "What would you need me for if you got it right before, the first couple times?" And it's true. It's true. Like, what do I need to apologize for? It's like the expectations I place on myself. He just reminded me, oh, you don't have to be so hard on yourself. Like, it's really okay. Like, you don't have to know everything. That's why I'm here. And your people should remind you of things like that. And, one of the things I've seen with people in my one-on-one practice is that they will often have big ideas for their dreams. They will often have goals or intentions or desires, as we often talk about, and they tell the wrong people. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, the wrong people are, unfortunately, are often family members. And I'm not saying your family can't be supportive. I have family members that are super supportive. I have some I would not say anything to. I think I mentioned to you my cousin the other day, because somebody was listening in her area and we did a shout out. And she's one of my people, most definitely. She's definitely one of my people. And I know if there's an idea or if I need feedback or if I need editing on something, she's a great editor because of the tremendous detail in her work. That she is a master at detail, and I'm the opposite. I love big ideas. So she's one of my people because I know I can depend on her for that type of support. And I also know I could have a great day, I could have a terrible day, and she's even all the way through. It doesn't really matter what it is. So that's why she's one of my people. My cousin is one of my people because of her consistency, her love, the way she listens. I'm just who she is as a person. There's just few people like that. And I love people like that in my life that support people because they often break boundaries for others. Anyway, I can't tell you. And by breaking boundaries, I mean break expectations because of who they are. Like she was the youngest of 7. They didn't grow up with a lot, and yet she was valedictorian of her class. Just brilliant. So I love some of my people are family, some are friends, some, as I mentioned, are therapists. But what matters most is not who they are, is that you have chosen them to help you and that they're the right people to help you. Because as I started to say earlier, I've had so many people tell me that they've told the wrong people, and they know they've told the wrong people because they share with them their dreams, goals, and desires, and those very well-meaning family members shoot it down. Oh, you've always been a dreamer. Oh, you're never going to make that happen. Women never can do that. Men can never do that. Why are you thinking of doing that instead of doing this? What's your husband going to think? What's your wife going to think? What are the kids going to think? I don't even like it, So when there are people super close to you, sometimes they're so busy projecting how it will affect them, it's hard for them to be clear channels of support. And that's really, really important to note. So gathering your people is a process, and it may change over time. Many people that take my mastermind course and do the Dream Big, Live Big stuff, in many of those courses, I have an activity where you have to make a list of your top five rather support people. And those support people, you call, you have a conversation, you ask them to be your support person, and you honor whatever answer they have. And then those are your people that are there for you no matter what. And not only are they there for you, but they love to be there for you. And of course, it's typically a very symbiotic relationship. Obviously, you're there for them as well. The reason I'm talking so much about you getting your support is I know so many people right now that are feeling isolated. I know a lot of business owners that are trying to do everything themselves. And it's been really fun lately to refer, Shawn, so many people I've given your name to. I know you're probably overbooked now, but it's been so fun to share. Hey, Shawn's one of my people, and you can trust this guy. That's a lot of fun for me.
That's so nice, and it's so greatly appreciated. And yes, I have been extra busy, but yeah, but it's good, but it's all good, and it's great, and it's really cool stuff too. I mean,
Right.
the one person that you connected me with, her line of business is something I really kind of believe in and can get behind. And
Yes.
So yeah, it's great to be connected through you to these new clients that I have taken on. So thank you.
Absolutely. Yes. And that I'm glad you used that word client, because not all of our people are just friends. Some we pay for their time. and what's so cool about that is you pay them and they are there for you. And that's how that works. And if they're not, you get somebody new. And that is a wonderful thing as well. That is a wonderful thing as well, because it puts you in the driver's seat in terms of what kind of support you need, because not everybody knows, not everybody can, not every, I should say, work relationship is long-term. Some are meant to be short-term.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Everyone, right, like everyone comes into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, right? They're either there
absolutely.
for a specific purpose or for a certain amount of time, or
Yes.
Yeah, I've always believed that.
Yes, and I've had people that I thought might be a short season that I've ended up working with for decades, a couple decades, or a decade or more.
And the opposite side of that, people you thought would be there for the lifetime,
Absolutely.
and like, oh no, they were a short term. They were
that was a hard left. Okay.
Bye.
Wish you well on the journey, friends. Yeah. And also it's okay, for that. We often talk about release, and I don't believe in throwing people away, certainly, but sometimes I'm going a direction, other people's journey are going another direction, and honestly, it's healthier to let them go. That's actually been very, very hard for me in my journey, because I want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to get along. I want to make everybody okay. But the truth is, if I'm having to work that hard, it's really not meant to be, and I have to let it go.
Oh, it's so true. Without getting into too much detail, I have, very good friends, been married for a long time, been very unhappy for many years, and they're just now gotten to the point where they're like, what are we doing? We have spent years making each other miserable. Maybe it's time to see what it's like if we go our separate ways. Not necessarily. I mean, they have kids, they got, they'll always be part of each other's lives, but they just can't live in the same house. Not right now. Like
it's like it's making all of us miserable. Please stop.
Yes, we're all uncomfortable. So do us all a favor. No, but for them, I mean, and I see them now, and it's been a little while, and you're starting to see both of them find their happiness again, which haven't seen it in many years. So
absolutely. And that's exactly what we're talking about. Not everybody has to be always there. And you really want to make sure that the people that you're calling to you are really supportive of your next steps. That said, as I mentioned earlier, you don't want people just saying, yeah, go for it. And then, you fall on your face because nobody gave you real constructive feedback. You want those people to be
honest.
Yes. And to be worthy in a way. And what I mean by worthy is have the skill, have the education, have the background. Sometimes you want somebody, like, you want to say, okay, I know you know nothing about spirituality. What do you think when you read this? Because I'm trying to get people who've never heard about spirituality. Well, then that is, they do have that worth, just in a different way than somebody who says, I've studied spirituality for 25 years. This seems too basic, or this seems too difficult. So each of those people in the village, as we gather our people in the village, some are going to have a very different purpose than others, but they're still both bring a lot of worth to your path and journey.
Yeah. There's something to being constructive, having constructive, still positive. There's still a way to be constructive and positive, I think.
Yeah.
And give that kind of good advice. But yeah, and it's interesting how, that could come from any type of relationship in your life,
Yes. Yeah, it's kind of like, you don't want people just to say yes, you want people to give you a reality check.
Yes.
It's like I'm having a really big dream. This is what I want to do. And what do you think? And I've had to help people with this. Like one time in a class, a woman who I adored wanted to she said she wanted to reach 1 million people with your book. I said, I love that idea. How many are you reaching now? None. I was like, okay. So what I want you to do is let's make that a 10-year goal or a 20-year goal, but we need a this year goal. And I said, I want it to be believable and reachable. If you're reaching nobody and you're saying you want to reach 1 million people in a year, that is not a reasonable goal, right? And so reaching 1 million is possible, but first you have to reach 10, then 100, then 500, then 1,000. As long as I've been doing stuff, I still have not reached consistently 1 million people. 1 million is hard to reach. I still have that as my goal, right? But I know there are measured goals up to that are believable and reachable.
Steps.
Yeah. I've had people tell me, well, all you need to do is hire this team and hire that team and all that. And I go, well, maybe. but I've hired a couple teams and none of them have got me what Shawn, you and I have done together. And, and so I just trust that divine order is prevailing. I just trust that as my energy's right and I call my right people to me, that's how I want to build. I don't want to buy members.
Yeah, no, you can't.
That's not right. That's not right.
And it's not authentic, and it's not.
It isn't.
There's just
It isn't, and that's what I mean by a reality check. So, when we really do desire to live a God-centered life, and it does put us on this path of adventure. It really is an adventure to live a God-centered life, because as you grow, things that you thought would never change. Things that you thought would never shift. And so you go, oh, I'm playing with the big kids now. And people at my table are changing. So who do I need at this table to take me to my next step of growth? For years, I was working with Jane Elizabeth Hart as a spiritual teacher. And I love Jane Elizabeth. Talked about her many times. I probably helped thousands of people do her 7-step work. I do it all the time. Love Jane Elizabeth. And years ago, I called her about something. She said, tell me why you keep calling me. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, I'm going to fire you. And I said, what are you talking about? She said, I'm firing you as my student. And I burst out laughing. And then I started crying. I go, no, you can't fire me. I laughed. And then I started crying. I said, you can't fire me. She said, honey, you haven't needed me for a year or more. She said, you already know what's yours to do. And she said, I can't hold you back. You don't need to check in with me. You already know. You go lead people. You go do this. And, this was years ago now. And she said, I was really guided to support you up until this moment. She said, and if I'm guided, I'll call. And about once every 2 or 3 years, my phone will ring and it is Jane Elizabeth.
Wow.
And it will be something. And I go, what the heck? Jane's calling me. So she was in my life in a different way than she is now. She's still there, but in a different way. Like that has shifted and changed as I've grown and matured. my friend, Mr. Willie, who I've talked about. We did a shout out to him. Growing up, he was probably my dad's best friend. He was at our house all the time. He helped my dad with a bunch of projects that he could not physically do. They were good buddies. And he's been in and out of my life my entire life. He's known my family before I was even born. And now today, even in his 80s, he's one of my people. And I know if I needed help anytime, day or night, I could call Willie. He'd say, Alice, where are you? What do you need? That's your people. That's what I'm talking about. Those kind of people. And I think so often we feel really isolated. I always think of it as being siloed, like Shawn's at his house and his little silo, and we've got our little phones, and we're doing this thing of social media, boom, boom, boom. And then we have a big idea. And we say, well, who do we share it with? And we decide to put it out on social media, and somebody goes, I don't know. Blah, blah, blah. We've shared it the wrong place. That's my point. You're gathering your people means I've created a safe haven for myself to review ideas. That's what my mastermind program is. That's what people do that work with me one-on-one. They know they can trust their big ideas. I'm not going to laugh. I'm not going to cut them down. I'm going to listen. And I'm going to say, let's look at if this is possible for you. How can we manifest this? And so that's what I mean. We all deserve that. And if you've never done a mastermind or something like that, I would really encourage you to look at one in the future. The January one is already going. You can't start late, but maybe the next one in March or April, whenever that starts. If you've never done a mastermind, it might be good to consider. But friends, you deserve to have your people. I don't want you to be siloed and alone and depressed sitting over there.
Yeah. And if you're, and I hate to take like everything you said was awesome. And I hate to take that and turn it into, it sounds promotional, but it's not. But if you're out there and you're listening and you want this kind of group or this kind of support, we have the Soulworks community that is also going to be able to provide all of these things that we are talking about.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, like you're saying, I've had people, and I know, Shawn, you've commented too, people say, I need prayer support. And we always say, we're lifting you up. We're holding you in the light. Let us know how this goes. And I think that's been one of the most powerful things of the network is supporting one another through prayer. And it is a safe place to give a big idea. There's been several sharing of big ideas, and I've loved seeing the community support. And it's so different from what you would see on a regular social media page. I'm sure you've noticed that.
Oh, big time. Yeah. People in the community who are, getting their own businesses off the ground and coming to the community and, letting us know that it was opening day and, asking for support and prayer and to keep them in our thoughts. And there's just something to that. There's an energy to it. It is I think the right way to use technology and, I don't know if the right way is the right way to say that, but you know what I mean.
A very positive way to use technology in your life, for sure. Yeah, for sure. And so, really, there's not a big, you should do this. But why I brought up this topic is it's been important for me. And maybe it's because I give a lot in my job to other people, but it's been really important for me to have people that they don't care if I'm a minister or a bricklayer. They could care less what I do for a living. They're there for me because I'm me and they're them. We have some kind of shared history, or we have some kind of shared value. We have some kind of shared understanding about right and wrong. And it's very powerful to me to have people that, and in my life, it happens to be, they're all different ages. Some are family. I'd say, out of my top 5, maybe 2 are family, 3 are not family. And so out of my top 10, it starts to get probably more friends, little less, it's probably, I don't know, 7 to 3, okay, non-family. But what does matter is that they see me for me, they see the whole me, and they're not in this place of judgment. They're in this place of love and support for me and for my journey, and they're authentic. They tell the truth to themselves. They tell the truth to me. If they're not sure about something, they say, I'm not sure about something. I just wanted to tell you I'm not sure. So lift that in prayer, and I'm open to ideas, they'll say. I say, I got you. And I'll say, yeah, I'm working on that one too. Yeah. So it's like just not having to have the answer for everybody, but just, in my case, that's really important. People that just love me for me, that want to hang out and play guitar or sit outside and skip a rock across a lake because we can. And it's just, those are my people. Those are my people. And I think it's so important that we all have some kind of support like that. It's been, as I've changed churches, which, I had such really enjoyed my time at Unity North Tampa, and it was a hard move. I love Unity of Daytona. I'm very at home there, but anytime you make a move, it's like a little bit of loss of community. And so I noticed I'm reaching out to my people a little more as I find the ground, as I get grounded there, as I establish relationships, as I consider, do I move here? Do I not move here? All those considerations. I notice I reach out to my people more in a different way in a time of change. So that's why they're there, not just for some big idea. They're there simply to be my support team, and I support them on their journey. And I as I love to say, this journey we call life. So my friends, I hope you will know that you deserve to have people that love you, to have people that support you, that are there for you in good times and in bad, that you have people that will lift you up, that will, yes, support your dreams and goals. And yes, also support you just being you. And I also want to honor if there are people you've recently had to release. I know how hard that is. I know how hard it is to let go of people who seem to be in a different place with their value systems. I also know, friends, it is so important to honor yourself and your journey as you move forward, because God is doing a mighty work in you, and to live a God-centered life, to play with the big kids. It's really important to have your people and to have that support. So, and you are worthy and you deserve it, my friend. You deserve it. So it's great to have you with us today. As always, we're blessed to share the show with you, blessed to have you as our listener. And again, I'm honored to receive your financial support. A couple people recently set up a monthly donation, and I can't tell you what that means, because it helps me pay the studio fees and all the other fees associated with a business in today's world. It's hard to believe sometimes what the taxes, the fees, the recordings, and everything else. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your gifts and for your financial support. I'm honored, just honored to be of service to you in your journey. So thank you for joining us today, dear friends, and blessings on the journey.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Experience of the Soul podcast with Cynthia Alice Anderson, helping you grow, prosper, and evolve. This podcast is made possible because of listeners and viewers just like you. If you would like to support the podcast with your tax-deductible contribution on an ongoing basis or through a one-time gift, head on over to experienceofthesoul.com/support. The Experience of the Soul podcast is copyright 2025 Cynthia Alice Anderson, all rights reserved, and is produced by Shawn Kilgore. A production of the Soulworks Group, Incorporated.